Hey guys, I'm the Highborn, and this is Ashes of Creation Alpha 2. In this video, I would like to talk to you about the Bard's skill tree. This is November the 3rd, and as far as I know, the Bard is yet to go through any changes. Therefore, this is the original Bard that we have gotten on launch. Now, this is the Bard skill tree. What is the Bard? The Bard is a support type class that deals a little bit of damage, it heals a little bit, and most importantly, it also restores some mana. What is the basic ability? It is called Quick Wit. It is a jest with the target ally and healing them from 150% magical power, and it applies Glee. Or you can ridicule an enemy target and dealing 100% magic damage. It is bludgeoning damage, interestingly, and it also applies a demoralized. Here you can read what these are. Excuse me. Then we have Flourish at level 3. It has 2 charges. And slide forward gracefully in your aim direction and gain pep. Can be used concurrently with any other ability. And here is pep. It's a momentary speed boost. And we have resonant weapon. Your weapon combo finishers trigger additional effects based on your active melody. Menacing deals some 40% arcane damage and applies weakened. Cathartic, also 40%, but it is bleed damage and applies wounded. And Cheerful it heals a nearby ally for 60% magic, and it favors you or any party member. Pensive, it restores mana to nearby allies to 10 plus 5% of magical power, favors yourself and your party member. This is really good in group combat. And Epic, it dispels up to 3 CC effects and applies pep. I would like to go a little bit more deeper into this. Normally, when you are in a larger group like 8 people or more, you really want a Bard, and you really want a Bard because of Pensive. At least in the early game where we are around 10, everybody is extremely mono-starved, and this helps keeping those manas topped up. And if you have mana regen extra from a Bard, you have less downtime, and with less downtime you can grind more weapons and experience and gear and everything. Now, the first skill, it's a multi-choice one. It is an instrument. It is a flute or a fiddle or a drum. A flute, and they don't really differ in anything. These are just flavor abilities. Then we have Epic Melody. Nearby party members gain an Epic Melody. It increases movement speed by 10% and stamina regen by 1. Melodies can never be played concurrently with any other abilities, and multiple instances of the same melody do not stack. Then we have Pensive Melody. A nearby party member gains Pensive Melody and it restores mana. The next one is Cheerful Melody, and the Cheerful Melody is a buff, and it increases healing received by 15%, and also slightly heals based on 15% of your magical power every 2 seconds. The fourth melody is Cathartic Melody, and nearby party members gain Cathartic Melody. Your attacks have a 25% chance to heal yourself for 50% of the damage done. This is pretty good. And we have Menacing Melody. Nearby party members gain Menacing Melody. Its damage multiplier increased by 10%. On the right side, we have 3 multiple choice skills. The first one is Chilling Lament or Chilling Lament but AoE. Chilling Lament, the targeted enemy is dealt 75% of your magical damage in ice magic damage, and is afflicted with chilled every second, and deals bonus damage to frozen targets. And the AoE version is the same but AoE, and instead of 75% of your magic damage, it is 50%. The second one is Lovely Serenade, single or AoE targeted. Lovely Serenade, a targeted allied is healed for 150% of your magic damage, or magical power rather, and it applies Glee. And we have the same thing but in AoE, and instead of 150% of your magic power, it is 50%. And the last one is Hymn of the Mind. The targeted ally gains 2.5 plus 5% of your magical power as mana every second, and mana gained increases up to 200% based on the amount. And this is the same but in AoE, and instead of 2.5 plus 5%, it is 1 plus 4%. Then we have Discordance. This is a pretty fast ability, and it launches a wild burst of 3 discordant notes at your target, and each dealing 75% of your magical damage as arcane damage, and it applies Stagger. The notes will bounce to random enemies and dealing reduced damage. Get Off the Stage. It is a knockback effect, knocking back enemies in front of you with an instrument and dealing 150% of your magic damage as bludgeoning damage, interestingly, and it applies 3 stacks of Snared. It also disarms targets who are already staggered. Then we have Shielding Dance. Heal yourself and nearby allies for 50% of your magical power every second, and it applies shield to the targets as they enter the distance. Then we have Maddening Dance. It deals arcane damage to 40% of your magic power and dispels 1 buff on enemies every second, and the damage increases the fewer targets you have, up to 60% of your arcane damage. It additionally humiliates the targets and demoralizes them. Rather, it additionally apply humiliated to targets that are demoralized. Yes. Sorry. Then we have Monologue. It increases your charges of Quick Wit by 1, but also increases its cooldown by 2. And we have Fierce Wit. Quick Wit will additionally apply 80% fire damage to burning enemies and pep to allies. Then we have another 2 multiple choice abilities. One is Dark Lullaby and Dark Lullaby AoE. Dark Lullaby. Target enemies and they take 50% spirit damage plus an additional 15% spirit damage for each debuff they have, up to 5. The damage will not wake up incapacitated enemies. This is really interesting and really nice. And the final hit applies stunned for 6 seconds if the target is incapacitated. And we have the AoE version with some smaller numbers. So enemies in front of you take 25% spirit damage plus an additional 10% based on how many debuff they have, and everything else is the same. The next multiple choice one is Anthem of Alacrity. Anthem of Alacrity. The target allied gains Anthem of Alacrity. It is a physical attack speed buff to the tune of 25% and casting speed to the tune of also 25%, and it lasts up to 10 seconds. And then we have the AoE version, which only lasts for 10 seconds, but it also increases everybody's, well, not everybody, but you and the 3 closest allies by 10% of the same stats. So attack speed and casting speed. Then we have Gambit. In a daring move, you transfer life to you from a targeted party member depending on who has the lowest percentage health. This ability will not reduce the player below 25%, and the target that loses life gains Solace. Now, why is it worth it? Solace gains up to 35% increased healing received for 5 seconds, which is nice. So you sacrifice some of their HP to get it to you, but in exchange, they gain very high increased healing for 5 seconds. Then we have a clever retort. You interrupt a cast and silence them, and it applies humiliated if they are demoralized. This is a an interruptibility. I didn't quite find the word for it. Marionette. Targeted enemy is afflicted with marionette, which means it's stunned and forced to dance against your will. It lasts 10 seconds or until damage taken has increased or rather exceeded its 10% max HP. And the instigator's max HP, which is yours. Mesmerizing dance. Quickly strike a dazzling pose, mesmerize all nearby enemies and applying incapacitated for 10 seconds. And any target that are staggered also becomes stunned. Then we have Nimble Dance. It grants Nimble and Pep and cleanses one debuff from yourself and nearby allies every second. Ooh, this is really nice. Then we have our last 3 multiple choice abilities. The first one is Songmaster Harmony and Songmaster Dissonance. Songmaster Harmony. Playing songs during their matching melody will cause them to gain 30% increased effects. Anthem goes to epic melody, hymn goes into pensive melody, serenade goes into cheerful melody, lament into cathartic, and lullaby goes into menacing. And then we have Songmaster Dissonance. Completing a song during clashing melody will apply 3 stacks of dissonant note. Anthem becomes pensive, hymn becomes cathartic, serenade becomes menacing, lament becomes cheerful, and lullaby becomes epic. The middle one is multiple choice between Music Mastery Crescendo and Music Mastery Counterpoint. The Crescendo. Your melody is increased in power over the course of 20 seconds with up to 50% greater effects at the end of the cast. And Counterpoint is the effect of your melodies are applied at increasing durations depending on your melody cast progress. At full charge, they will last up to 20 seconds, allowing you to weave back and forth between melodies, upkeeping multiple buffs at once. Ooh, this sounds really nice. And the last one is Dance Mastery Power or Dance Mastery Energy. The power Flourish causes your next dance to have 50% increased radius, and the energy is Flourish now only has 1 charge, but each time you complete a dance, you get off the stage and Flourish cooldown resets. Now, the last row of abilities. Let's go from the other way. We have Misdirection. It uses your vials to reduce both your own and nearby party members' threat against a nearby monster by 1000% of your magical damage. It additionally breaks all disable effects on the caster. So this is a runaway ability. Conflict. Nearby party members gain conflict, and it increases their physical power by 10 seconds, and it lasts 30 seconds. It also generates something that I don't know how to read. I guess bad vibes. Then we have Chaos. Party members gain Chaos. It increases their magical critical chance by 15%. Then we have Destiny. Nearby party members gain Destiny. It increases their physical critical chance by 15% for 30 seconds, and it generates this blue thing. I guess it's okay vibes. Nearby party members gain Wonder. It increases their magical power by 10% and it lasts 30 seconds. It also generates meh vibes. Then we have Triumph. Nearby party members gain Triumph for 10 seconds, and it means that they gain 10% max HP and 1 stamina regen. It lasts 30 seconds and it generates good vibes. And then finally we have Joy. Nearby party members gain Joy. gain temporary health equal to 10% of your max HP, and it also lasts 30 seconds, and it also generates good vibes. These last 6 abilities go into the final, not quite capstone one, which is Saga. Complete your tale with the grand finale, consuming all of your current themes. The specific saga that you have access to is determined by the combination of the themes. So these themes are the vibes, I guess. If you have bad vibes, you gain the Apocalypse. Conjure a serenade at your location that depicts this fabled event. Holy shit, that's a word soup. Enemies in front of you will be hit for 150% of your magical power as fire damage, and it afflicts them with burning. No, it afflicts burning to those who are volatile. Lingering Zone of Flames will be left behind that deals 30% of your magical power as fire damage each second. It also applies Unquenchable Flames. And the tooltip says, when the Harbingers landed, Vera shook and tore. What is Unquenchable Flames? Weapon attack made against this target trigger bonus fire damage equal to the attacker's level, and it lasts 4 seconds. Then with good vibes, you gain Return to Vera. After a short cast, launch 3 bursts of healing into up to 8 allies, favoring injured party members, and healing for 100% of your magical power. This applies Glee, and if the targets have Pep, otherwise it just creates Pep. And the tooltip says, but we return triumphant, our magic restored. Then with meh vibes, we get Silent Pantheon. It scatters a variety of magical buff zones around you, and nearby allies can enter into these zones and gaining random blessing of the gods. And the tooltip says, are they still watching or have they departed? And for a mixed bag of vibes, you get the Myth of Creation. It applies a pair of status effects to all nearby enemies around your target rather, and depending on your target's archetype. Together they conjure the words Uncharted. And our last capstone 2, it is further allows you to mix the bag with vibes. There is the Horrors of the Void. It channels to repeatedly deal 75% of your magical power as lightning damage. And it knocks back enemies and applies Dazed and Weakened. And the tooltip says, and amidst the chaos and suffering, they roil and brood. And the last one, Heroes of the Ages. Nearby party members gain Blessing of the Ages. It is 30% movement speed and 70% reduced gravity. Interesting. It lasts up to 15 seconds. And the final tooltip says, while heroes rise up, noble and true. I hope you have enjoyed this review of the Bard's skill tree. This was the Highborn. And if you have found value in this video, please leave a comment and click a like. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.